Good morning. Good morning, Pretty Black. Good morning, Team McQueen. I hope you're both doing well. So we will start with some tones. Ishtaras. Katie. Hi. I guess announcements work. I can keep posting announcements. And I don't know if you noticed, I made an emotional support channel for the server. I think that's a really good idea. I've moderated other servers that have that. It's a really important space. Good morning, Kim. Announcements are excellent. Alright, well, I can keep announcing. That's easy. So, I'll start with just a little bit of vocal warm-up. Make some tones so that I can perform well. So, if you'd like to do that with me, you can do a little exercise. To start, just pay attention to my body, specifically my pelvis, and the angle that my pelvis is at as I'm seated. I want to lean forward so that my spine can emerge out from the top of the pelvis, straight and tall. My shoulders are back, head straight and erect. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale and make a tone. Good morning, Paige. Cheers, Metal. I'm doing a little bit of a vocal warm-up before we start the mantra repetition. And I usually start with that tone because it's the most easeful tone for my vocal tract, right? I have a fairly long vocal tract, and so that is, it's also like the bass resonance of my room is around 120 hertz, so, because I have a lot of electronics in here, and so I sort of match the frequency that the room itself is vibrating at. And then I'll go a little bit higher because I don't actually like to sing or speak that low, even though it is comfortable for me. So raise my resonance, raise my pitch, and see how long I could hold a higher tone, like this. Ooh, that was poor. Let me try that one more time. Now we can begin. TikTok is telling me that I should remind you to like this stream, if you like it. Hi, Sally. I'm doing well. How are you? Good morning, Gina. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you all are here. Yes, the people in this stream making fun of me don't have much better to do. Thank you for all the likes. That helps. It does. That's my job. That's my job. That lets me keep my job. Did you know? What a funny thing. Hello from Ireland. Hi, Ken. Hello, California, Colorado. Hi. This is a vibe. I'm doing well. So we're going to start today with the Book of Deuteronomy, as we always do. What am I doing? I am praying with this community of people that has emerged spontaneously. It's pretty fantastic. Why do people mute others as soon as they say something that they don't like, because otherwise this stream would become a bit of a swamp. And I understand if you don't like some of the decisions that my moderators are making, but I need them to make those decisions. I need someone in that executive position, and it can't be me. So I appreciate keeping the stream thoughtful and consistent and kind. Will TikTok let me make you a moderator now? Yes, Katie, I will make you a moderator. Let me do that right now before we begin the mantras. Admin settings. Moderators. Okay. K-A-T. Katie Bug. Alright, you're now a moderator, Katie. Could you please be a moderator? You've watched several streams and it makes you sad. Well, yes. Madame, you can be a moderator. If you'd like to moderate for me, please join my Discord server and message me in the live stream discussion channel. And we can chat about what moderation looks like. And then I will friend you. And then I can make you a mod. So it's a multi-step process, but that's required in order to build a team that is coherent and that knows how to work together. I'm glad you liked my dumpstering video. I'm working on another one right now. Probably won't be as spectacular as the cherry one, because that was quite a find. But I have another dumpster video in the works. Okay. So, now that we've got some of the administration out of the way, we can start to pray together. So we'll begin with the Shema. Why did I choose Deuteronomy, Grace? So I chose this prayer, the Shema. The word Shema means listen in Hebrew, and it is the core of Judaism. I don't think that's very debatable. The Shema is, without a doubt, the most recited prayer in Judaism. It's one of the oldest statements of monotheism that we have in a written form. And the Shema and the prayer that comes after it, the V'ahavta, in my mind, form the core of what it is to practice Judaism. And so that is why I start with them, and they happen to be in the Book of Deuteronomy. The Book of Deuteronomy takes place sort of in the center of the story of the Torah after the Israelites have been freed, but before they are Israelites, right? They're in a period, a liminal space, where they're not sure who they are or where their homeland is. So I believe in God. No, I don't, actually. I certainly don't believe in believing, even if I may have had the experience of God. I don't think belief is the right framework. The people in the Book of Deuteronomy, they're wandering in the desert. They're hungry, they're lonely, they're tired. And yes, that is a candle by my microphone. Here it is, a little candle. The people are hungry and lonely and tired, and they invent a character named Moses to help them commune with Yahweh. And so Moses climbs up the mountain, and he comes back down, and he brings laws, and he brings structure and identity. And so the words that we're about to say are about that identity and how it is grounded in space and time. And it goes like this. Do I consider it more of a relationship rather than a belief? Yes, I would say that it's a relationship with the rest of the world. A relationship with the infinite reality that I cannot help but being embedded within because I am that infinite reality. I wouldn't say it's a relationship with an entity or a personality, although certainly in the practice that I'm doing, I do try to understand the personality of Yahweh as it is written, but that's more of a like a rhetorical game, right? Like I'm doing a Yahwistic character analysis. But that's not metaphysics. Like Yahweh as a character was invented by priests thousands of years ago in order to convince me of certain properties of the world, and really it just tells me more about the properties of those priests and the personalities of those priests. Did I make it? Did I make what? A candle mosaic. Yes, I did. I did make this candle. There's some oil in it, lamp oil, and then there's a little fixture that allows the wick to have the right sized flame. And the bottle is an old nasal spray bottle, so it's made out of trash and things. Yes, I did make the candle. I also made the candle holder. This little piece of wood with the proper sized hole in it, so the candle can sit in there and not fall out. Anyhow, let's recite the Shema. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel. Yahweh Eloheinu, Ashra, are one. That's the insight. All is one. The serpent eats its tail. And now, here's what comes next. Ve'ahavta et anat Elohecha uv'chol lebavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha havaderch uv'shachbecha uv'kumeyecha Ukshartam le'ohut al yadeyecha, avechayu letotafot v'neineyecha, uchtavtaham al mezuzot beitecha, uvihisharechecha. So, those words can be translated as, and you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words that I am imparting to you today, these words that are coming from my mouth, being picked up by my microphone, translated into light and sent through the ether into your phone, wherever in the world you may be, and then sent out again as light and sound vibrations, only to enter your body through your eyes and your ears, to enter your mind as symbols. These words, teach them to your children. Teach them to whoever will listen. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. And inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Right, so what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is repeat, cycle, right? Around and around in a circle. The prayer has 3 parts, and now we've listened to 2 of them. And on your gates, yes, mezuzot. Hot Balter and me, have you ever seen a mezuzah? This is a mezuzah right here. This is the text of the V'ahavta, covered in wax. And then this is the mezuzah that also contains the text of the V'ahavta. Right, so it's quite literal. And if you've been to a Jewish home, can you explain what's going on right now? I'm trying. If you've been to a Jewish home, you may have seen on their doorposts a mezuzah, just like this one that I just showed you. And inside it is a scroll, which contains these words. And the words say, hey, put me on your doorposts. And so people put them on their doorposts. Right, so the words, in a very, physical sense, entice people or exhort people to copy them. And that is how the words reproduce, right? This is memetics, basic memetics. This is one of the oldest memes in the world. And I feel things when I repeat it. You're supposed to touch it before entering. Yes, that is a tradition that certain people use for certain mezuzahs. Good morning, Miss Jolie. Yeah, so the prayer is alive, right? Like every time it is said, it asks to be said once more. And that is how it reproduces itself. And so when I'm saying that prayer, I'm becoming part of a living tradition, a living pattern that is far older than me and will continue to exist long after I am gone. People often ask me in this stream, like, what happens when you die? And my answer is always like, well, I will continue to be a part of the same pattern that I've always been a part of. And this is an example of that, right? Someone somewhere in the world has been saying this prayer continuously for the last 2,000 years at least. And so when I am saying that prayer, I am part of that living pattern. And I just think that's really great. I'm glad that you like my voice, Alondra. You were being rude earlier, sorry. I don't know why you're hating. You gotta be yourself. Yes. I find it so touching when people in this feed come in and say, hey, I'm sorry I was being rude to you earlier. I didn't mean to. Like, that's amazing. Like, thank you for staying and listening. I really appreciate that. So, you absolutely love this topic. Wish it would be a regular thing. I say these words every day, Ella. Every single day I say these words. So if you want to come back tomorrow morning, I will be here. And I will be saying these same words. Words that sound like this. V'chaya. Ki v'chaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai lavatecha le'avram li'yitzchak u'Yaakov. Latet lach avrim gedolot v'tovot asher lo vanita. Uvatim mili'im kol tova asher lo mileta. Uverot hatzavim asher lo hasatva. Ke'arim vizitim asher lo natata. Ve'alachta v'shavata. Hishamer lecha v'nishach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you ate your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. So this is the third part of the Shema prayer, this very important section of the Book of Deuteronomy. The third part, and in my opinion, the most chilling part. It's going to be afternoon for me. Definitely be there tomorrow. Thank you. I'm glad that you want to be here with me again. Why do I use God's name? What a good question. That is a question that shows contextual understanding. I appreciate that. So, I use God's name because I am not a monotheist. I'm a monotheist metaphysically, right? Like I do say this thing, Yahweh Echad, all is one, right? Like in an ultimate sense, in a sense that like light and matter are interchangeable. It's what modern physics tells us, like all things are one, right? And so in that sense, sure, I'm a monotheist in that I believe that at the bottom of everything, at the core of the universe, we have a single unitary thing that we all are. But any of the words that could be used, Adonai, Hashem, right, they all come with cultural baggage. And the reason why this prayer is mostly recited with the word Adonai, there's historical reasons that after the Babylonian exile, the Levitic priest wanted to move the concept of God away from a pantheon of warring personalities, where Yahweh and Baal needed to fight over who had the most powerful storms and who could bring the most fertility to the land. That was a superhero drama that they wanted to move beyond. And so they created a taboo that said, you shall not say the name of God unless you are the high priest on the Temple Mount, inside the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippur. Then you may say Yahweh. But other than that, you have to use a pseudonym. You have to use Hashem, the name, Adonai, Lord. But I don't want to pray to the Lord. That is not the kind of power structure that I appreciate or want to replicate in my belief system or in my life. And by introducing the name Yahweh back into my practice, it gives me the ability to introduce other names, not concerned with using God's name in vain. I don't think this is in vain. I think this is very deliberate use of language, right? And if I say the name Yahweh, I can also say the name Ashra, right? Yahweh and Ashra, they were co-deities at some point in human history for some peoples. For some cultures, there were two deities that were worshipped, Yahweh and Ashra. And if I say Yahweh, it creates space for me to also say Ashra. And I think that the Divine Feminine needs more space in the world today. So I use the word Yahweh. And often I use the word Yahweh somewhat disparagingly. I think that the character of Yahweh is a deeply problematic one. I think that he's genocidal. I think that he's emotionally abusive. I think he's misogynistic. And this is the character of God that I am learning to know, because genocidal, misogynistic, emotionally abusive powers have been shaping society for as long as there has been a society, and so I need to come to terms with that. I need to understand that. And so I'm going to call them by their name. And their name is Yahweh. And here's what Yahweh says, right? Yahweh first says in the Shema, listen, I am one. All is one, actually. And then Yahweh says, repeat this concept over and over and over again, and maybe one day you'll experience it in your body. Maybe one day you will experience the unity of the universe. And then Yahweh says, when Yahweh brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill, take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage, right? This is chilling to me. This is, again, a kind of emotional threat. I'll see you later, Jen Marie. Right? Yahweh says that if you forget me, I will return you to bondage, right? Don't forget Yahweh, who took you from bondage and gave you a land that was stolen, gave you houses that you did not build, and hewn cisterns that you did not hew, and vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. And eat your fill, and be grateful, and remember the origin of this land that is not yours, and remember the threatening deity who could take it away from you at any time, and in fact has multiple times throughout your history, only to give it back to you by stealing it from someone else once more. So I live on stolen land. You all here live on stolen land, I'm quite sure. And we can remember that. We can remember that none of the things that we have we really deserve. We just have them. And in many ways, our having of them is predicated on other people's pain. And that's okay. We can acknowledge that. We can acknowledge our privilege. Where do I live? Israel? No, I live in the United States, which is just as stolen land as Israel is. Just as occupied. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani Isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. I did. Baruch atah Ashra, Anat Malecha Haolam, Asher Yitzaret Ha'adam B'chachama Uvara Le'or. I repeat the name of Ashra Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. Thank you for all the likes. I really appreciate it. We have a quiet stream today. It's quite nice, actually. I can more thoughtfully respond to the comments that you're giving me. I appreciate that. Yeah. So if you have to go, have a nice day. I'm glad you're here. And I appreciate all the likes. It helps. It really does. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, while our flesh was like a veil, we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Whoa. Some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again. And I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin. That Ashra is gathering all her children back again. Ashra, that great goddess who consumes her children like a snake that eats its tail. And the song is about that time in ancient history when Bethlehem and Babylon were at war, and when the cities destroyed one another. Did I write that song? No, that song was written by Leonard Cohen. Although I did modify it, I added the name Ashra, in order to make the ancient historical references more explicit. But the metaphor is that the destruction of the city, the conquest of Jerusalem, was actually a kind of wedding, an orgy, maybe, right? And Babylon and Bethlehem and Jerusalem, they all fuse into a single cultural reality, right? That the modern world has inherited. We inherited that trauma, just as we inherited a goddess that eats her children with fierce, terrifying love. She's scary, this lady. Very scary, like a snake. And so it goes. Who is Ashra? Ashra is an ancient Canaanitic goddess who was at times joined with Yahweh. It also, at other times, joined with El. She's a mother goddess, mother of snakes. Divine feminine. Yes. Divine feminine. You can read about Ashra in ancient texts, like the Baal cycle. She's a character I try to keep in my mind. So now we're going to switch languages. We're going to stop reciting Hebrew for a little bit, and we're going to start singing in Sanskrit from the Shivananda Tradition, which is contained in this little book. And we're going to do a prayer that I learned when I was studying pranayama at the Shivananda Yoga Center. Tell me about that book. This is a book of prayers from Shivananda. Shivananda is a Hindu monastery. Oh, the Baal cycle. The Baal cycle is... we have many versions of it, but the most complete version came from the Ugaritic tablets from the ancient city of Ugarit on the Syrian coast that was destroyed around 3,000 years ago. There was a snake in one of my videos that looked poisonous. Yeah, indeed. Ugarit was a city on the Syrian coast where Ashra was worshipped, as well as Baal and El and Anat. And there are tablets that were found in Ugarit that outline a story, a narrative story about all of these divine characters that we can use to understand the religious life of the people who lived in the region that we now call Syria before Syria existed, in the region that we now call Israel before Israel existed, in Canaan. But we're going to move from Canaan and go to India. Yes, Chronicles. So the Shivananda tradition comes out of India. Shivananda was a guru in India who sent devotees to the United States to start ashrams. And I learned a series of prayers at one of these ashrams in the mountains. And the prayer I'm about to sing is done before pranayama practice, breathing yoga. And it goes like this. Kajananam bhutaganati sevitam kapita jambubala sarabhakshitam mumasutam sukaminasakaranam mahaming vigneshwara pada pankajam sadananam kunkumaraktavarnam mahamatim divyam mayuravahanam ridasyasunam sarasananatam guham sadanam saranam prapadye yaku hendu tu saraharadavala yasupravasvarita yavina varanda manditakara yasveta padmasana ya brahmachuta sankara pratrapi deva Sada Puchita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihesa Jatyapa Om Namo Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om We salute the three-eyed Divine Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness to those who repeat her name. Jayambakam yajamai Sugandim pushte vardhanam Orva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritatam Jayambakam yajamai Sugandim pushte vardhanam Orva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityar Mukshiyamamritatam Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashid Dukhabhag Bhave Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityur Mamritam Gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om. That outer world is full. This inner world is also full. From fullness comes fullness, taking full from full. Fullness remains, like a serpent which eats its tail. Peace. Peace. What a small, intimate group we have today. Just 24 of you. 24 of you, and I'm quite confident that all 24 of you have been here before. And that's really special. I like big crowds. I like small groups. I'm really glad you all are here. So now, we're going to take a meta step. We are going to sing a prayer about prayer that I'm sure you all have heard before. I really like this one. And I like hearing from other people what it means to them. It's more accessible than many of the other prayers in different languages that I recite. And in many ways I'm doing that right now, Blonde Barbie. Right now. It's my favorite too. Yeah. And, yeah. As I sing it, I'd love to hear from you all what it means for you all, or what prayer in general means for you all. It's really nice to get that kind of feedback. So that one goes like this. It's by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, if you ever want to look it up. You love listening to it before bed. That's great. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink in golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, Cotton Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray, I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Ashra made good, and Anat made bad. Elohim made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my Maker. I just want to be feeling free. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, no. Pardon, God and Mom. What I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good, and Anat made bad. Elohim made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except it's a bit of a lie, or maybe just a fiction, because none of those gods actually exist, and in reality, I made me, or you all are making me right now. I'm an image, I'm a little creature in a screen, an internet personality, and I wouldn't be able to be this person, I wouldn't be able to become this person without all of you who are here right now. Specifically, you all in this tiny group. I have wanted to play this role. I've wanted to do this kind of work for so long. And it wasn't possible. I didn't have a form that was able to do that. And now it's happening. And you all are the ones that are allowing that to create itself. So, thank you. Not the prayer, but the prayer. Yes, I am a girl or a boy, Nathan. Yeah, I like to become prayer, to transmute yourself into light. Right, that's literally what I'm doing, right? Like, here I am sitting here in this room. And actually, I am in all of your rooms. I'm in every single one of your phones. And to become prayer is quite a remarkable thing that humans are able to do. I'm happy you're here. I'm really happy you're here, Chronicles. Live streams and prayers are my favorite part of the morning. That's so great. Thank you, Chronicles. So, now we're going to wrap up the mantra portion of this stream. We're going to have breakfast in a bit. But first we're going to say arati. So the word arati in Sanskrit means prayer. No, it doesn't mean prayer. That's a lie. It means light. That's why I'm holding this flame. It means light. It means flame. Arati means flame. And this is the concluding prayer for the Shivananda liturgy that they do every morning and every evening. We wave the light. I love your prayers every morning. The best part to start your day. That's so sweet. I love hearing that. Like it means I'm doing something in the world that's useful, right? It means I'm having an impact on people's lives. And that means so much to me. So, arati. In the arati, here, it's not long, it's 2 pages, right? In the arati, we repeat the names of various Hindu gods, like Ganesh. Here's Ganesh. Many of you have seen this before. This is a elephant-headed deity. He was beheaded by his father, Shiva, only to be reborn. It's a familiar story, right? Not unlike how Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, only to replace him with a lamb. For me, it's your evening wind down. Yes, because you're in Australia. That's so cool, right? There can be people in the morning and people in the evening. It can be the same time, and we can all pray together. Am I worried about parasites and eating out of dumpsters? No, I'm not. I know what good food is. I know what's good for my body. I know it very well. And I'm not worried about getting sick. So, in the RT, we're going to repeat the name, or some other part of the elephant. Some other part of the elephant. We're going to repeat the names of these various Hindu deities. But not just Hindu deities. We'll also repeat the name of some prophets and some gurus. And the meaning of the prayer is that they are all the same. Right? They are all the same. They're all connected to the same source. They're all part of the same tree. And the refrain goes like this. Jaya Jaya Ratiya Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Ratiya Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Ratiya Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Choya Jaya Jaya Rati Venkanta Ramana Bhavani Sankara Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Rati Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Rati Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Rati Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Rati Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jaya Rati Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Rati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Rati Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jaya Rati Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Rati Vishnudevananda Jaya Jaya Rati Agastya Munaye Shri Rama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Rati Ayapa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Rati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Rati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Rati Venugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Tomeva Bantam Bandi Sarvam Tasya Vasya Samidam Vivanti Om Yange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, stars, nor lightning. So from where does this light come? When that shines, everything else shines after that. By its light, all else is lit. Oh. Alright, I'll answer some questions before we conclude the dedication song. I do have a boyfriend. I have many partners. I do have health insurance. It is paid for by the state. I eat roadkill often. There are many deer that are hit on our road that runs through the farm, and we butcher the deer and we eat it. We eat them. We usually get 2 or 3 a year. I've eaten roadkill deer on this live stream before. It's not scandalous. It's just using the wealth that we are given. And Ishtares, I think you answered Zimbio's question better than I could. What is the purpose of prayer? What is the purpose of prayer? You let me know. That's why I recite Sanskrit prayers. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva Tvameva bandusha saka tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Kayena vacha manasendriyarva Buddhyatmanava prakriti sabhavad Karomi yad yad mangalam parasmahe Narayana hiti sarmarpayami Sarvadharman pravichaya mamikam savarnam vraja Am sva sarvapapayo mokshayami masicha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. It means a lot. No, I do not feel guilty that the state pays my health insurance. The state also employs me. I work for a state institution. I live in a state. And if I am going to be subject to the oppression that is government, I might as well also be subject to the privileges that come from being governed. Feel into the ontology. What is the experience of prayer? What does the act feel like? Ishtras, you're very good. You're very good. Thank you for contributing your perspective. Like, really, truly, that sounds a little bit stiff, but like, this stream wouldn't be the same without you, without all of you who are so thoughtful and kind. I don't work for the state. I do. I work at a state university. The university is funded by the state of New York. I teach students, and my paycheck comes from the state of New York. How am I not working for the state? That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're getting at. What's for breakfast today? Did I eat the mushrooms from the other day? Yes, I did. I did eat the mushrooms. So, we will now conclude with Akaddish for all of those people who died yesterday of coronavirus. You can mute, Rory. What do I teach at the university? I teach mycology. I'm not on welfare. I teach mycology. Actually, I am on welfare. I received unemployment because I wasn't able to teach during the pandemic. But I'm a teacher. I'm employed. But we don't actually need to talk about those details of my life. They're not relevant. Let's say Kaddish. Kaddish for all those people who died yesterday of all of these various forms of death and injustice. Suffering that has plagued the living since life began with our last universal common ancestor, Luca, 3.8 billion years ago. And for all those who will suffer after us until our lineage is done. And for the last 2,500 years, my ancestors have been saying the following words. Hid kadal vid kadash shemei rabba. Biam adivrachute biam lichbal chute b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayed kol beit Yisrael v'agalau b'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabba miv'arach li'olam olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yirmam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush birchata v'nechemata d'yamiran b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlamar rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom v'imramav hu ya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom v'imramav hu ya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru v'imru. Amen. Hebrew. The language is Hebrew. And Cacto Libri, you are one of my students. Like, that is why I'm here. I'm here to teach. I'm a teacher. And whether I'm teaching mycology in a forest or whether I'm teaching mythology in a TikTok screen, I'm still teaching. I can't not teach. I can't not try to share what I know with other people. And so if you're here, you're my student. That's what the relationship is. And I'm really glad that you're here. Let's have some breakfast.